if you have a particular case study with a particular well-defined question in mind, then that does limit the scope of your investigation to some extent, and you can sort of present, once you feel like you've had a thorough investigation, you can sort of present, your findings, as it were, on that particular topic. And it seems to me like you've taken this methodology of yours and you've actually applied it very pragmatically in terms of like the founding of your consultancy, Bismarck Analysis. Would you like to describe just a little bit the kind of work that you do in Bismarck Analysis, sort of serving the private sector and maybe some other entities as well, in terms of providing like very in-depth, long drawn-out reports on specific topics?
Yes, Bismarck Analysis is a little bit of an unusual company. You could almost think of us as a sort of hybrid between a think tank and a consultancy. Why? Because ultimately, I sort of view it as the best and most. I view it as the best instrument to investigate current society. The motivation is intellectual first and financial second. That I think actually is the true story, because behind many for-profit companies and entities, they're often dedicated around doing something else, and incidentally, it happens to be profitable. And the for-profit model, if you think about it, actually is epistemically much better set up than the donor fundee setup. There are a whole number of difficulties with, donating money to a nonprofit, right? Meanwhile, hiring someone to produce a deliverable that you care about for your organization's future, okay, in a way, that's much more collaborative rather than the strange adversariality that emerges with almost all nonprofits, where people working at the nonprofits feel like they have to handle the donors, and there's an incentive to conceal information rather than an incentive to reveal information. The consulting arrangement is the best one I know of, and if your viewership knows of a better one, I'd like to hear it, for being able to get to very closely know many modern organizations. I wanted to sample from the present, not just from the past. And I wanted to apply then these skills and data sets that we've developed ourselves to providing unique advantages to our clients. Our clients are incentivized to tell us the full story of their needs. We keep that in confidence, but of course it informs our future judgment. And on our end, we're of course motivated, both because of our professional reputation and just because of, well, honestly, the intellectual challenge of delivering a very good product. Now, these very in-depth reports are sometimes paired with, action plans of various kinds. We've done reviews of entire industries, like the machine tool industry.
Yes.
A paper on that is available to the public on bismarckanalysis.com. You can go check it out. A different paper that we've also made available is one on the influence of scientists during the creation of the atomic bomb, right? Or rather, it turned out after the case study, the lack of the influence of scientists when it came to the policy or political decisions. And, that's a bit more historical again. However, consider how many times today scientists working in fields such as artificial intelligence or virology might delude themselves with the incorrect story that, of course, I'm doing this scientifically very exciting thing, but, in the future, if there are really some problems, this authority that I've received as a scientist and the credibility I had of helping develop this technology, I'm going to cash that in. I'm going to cash that in to influence organizationally what's going to happen with the fruits of my labor. And that just, that was not the case with the atomic bomb. It will not be the case with artificial intelligence. It will, not be the case with any biomedical breakthroughs. The scientists themselves do not make these decisions, either organizationally or politically. Anyway, that was very interesting to a client of ours who was, worried about the risk of artificial intelligence. We mostly work with high net worth individuals, but also sometimes companies and nonprofits and media organizations. Really, I am always striving to investigate and understand the sectors of society that I feel are just not well understood. And if you imagine this, and if you imagine trying to approach, say, the corporate environment or academia or political decision making or these classes, if you try to approach them as an anthropologist, it just doesn't really work. You know, at best, you're a curiosity. At worst, you're a spy or a journalist or something like this.
Mm.
You don't do the work, so you don't actually end up seeing what's happening there. You're given a sanitized version of events rather than being in the thick of it.